Good morning and welcome to my hobby table. So this is going to be the first installment of this Wright Flyer 40T repair and assembly video series. And I just spent the last 15 or 20 minutes just trying to figure out the best camera angle. So I've got a camera here and I've got a camera here and trying to get the lighting right and all that for best viewing of this project. So we're going to try it with this. I have no idea how many segments or how many parts there's going to be to this series. I happen to have time today and I was really chomping at the bit to start doing some things. So this is going to be the first one. I don't know how quickly or how often there's going to be a follow-up. So I'm going to sit here for a second. So the first thing I did was I went outside in the garage and I found some scrap wood. So in one of those Facebook Marketplace scores, the big one, the one that cost me the most money, that I got almost a whole truckload of stuff with. One of the things that came with that was a box of a lot of scrap wood, because this guy was a builder. So I went out there and I was looking for wood to replace the top portion here, because I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to reuse this. I might, but it kind of depends. So I was just looking to make sure I had wood to start with, so that when I started the project I could get it going. And I found some nice sheeting here. This looks like it's a 3/32 inch sheeting, and this one here looks like it's possibly 1/8 inch sheeting. I found some 1/4 inch triangle stock, which is going to be nice. And then I found just a piece of, this says 3/16 by 3/16. I can't tell if that's, I think that's just grade B or C balsa. But he's got it written down here, 3/16 by 3/16 square. So, and in this purchase, where I got this, I believe it was this one. Yes. In the toolbox, there were some pieces of light ply. I don't know where this fellow had these nice pieces of light ply, but these are going to be perfect for either creating pieces of the formers to replace, repair, or whatever. And there's even bigger pieces. I just arbitrarily grabbed 3 that look like they might be good for using, especially for replacing or at least repairing this piece here. So I mean, I could kind of maybe use this as a template for drawing on there and just extrapolate. I don't know. So we're going to see. But the first things first is I was just showing the wood that I've got. I've got a nice sharp, I believe that's a number 11 blade, a little steel rule, and a Sharpie marker here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of very gently move this wood off the table and reposition this here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this standing up or sitting. So I was looking in here, and this former that's really broken is right here. Is at this point here. Well, this one's really broken too. So there's a former here, there's a former right here. I can look through here and I can see it and I can feel it. So I'm going to just kind of arbitrarily determine. Let me just put a mark on here real quick. So the former's here. And I don't really care if I'm marking on this at this point either. That's about there. So that's about where my former location is. And it's every time I pick this up, I squeeze it, and it's like, yeah, that's really got to get fixed. So the cutout for the rudder fin, vertical fin is right here. So everything back here feels pretty good, and there's not another former until I get basically back here. So we got former. So I'm just going to arbitrarily choose a spot, maybe somewhere in the middle here, and just make that as far back as I'm going to remove this. So I'm just going to, and I know this is a permanent marker, but that's okay. So I'm just going to mark a line there. And that's where I'm going to begin. Now, in a prior to this, I kind of started, this was already kind of lifting, so I kind of started doing some of this thing with it. So I'm gonna, I think I need to put another mark on this side here. So I think what I want to do is just very gently see if I can kind of start trying to find a seam here under that, because this looks like it's about 3/32 inch sheeting also. So I'm just gonna kind of start scoring this a little bit. And hope that, yeah, looks like it's lifting up right there real good. Where was I? So I'm just going to kind of start doing that type of thing with it here. And I see where my line is here. Go back to my line here. So I don't know, maybe I arbitrarily chose a little bit too far back here, because this is not wanting to just separate cleanly like I was hoping it would. So anyway, I got this piece pretty much done, and this is where the triangle stock is going to come in really handy here to have a feeling. Yeah, there we go. So I'm getting this opened up here. I think before I go too much further, I want to start making my plunge cut here. If I'm going to be able to use this steel rule on here or not. So my thoughts on this section are, when I go to put this piece back on, there's going to be another piece right underneath this that's halfway, that's kind of like a tongue. So it's going to go under there and it's going to glue to the top of this, and it'll be glued to this to add it straight. And I'm really not entirely super concerned about adding a little bit of extra weight. Now obviously I want to try to minimize the extra weight in the aft as far as back as possible, but I think a couple of ounces of weight are really not going to, and I'm just estimating how much weight I might add. I don't know. I don't think they'll be that detrimental. So this is balsa, and I'm just kind of starting to do a little bit of up and down movement here with this blade. So I got this. Should be freed up there. Not another. Oh, you know what I'm cutting through here? There's a span, there's a stringer. There, I think I got through it there. There's a stringer at the top of this. So now we want to see about, let's see if I can finish this up. Get this open and then just go to the other side. So there'll be a little bit of extra work for where I'm cutting here, making cuts to try to, whatever is still glued and adhered here, to remove that, make sure I've got a nice clean flat portions here to make the repair onto. So that's, I think it's time to flip this over. I probably should have put another piece of tape on this hatch. Let's see if I can get the same type of success here. So this top part, I have a funny feeling I'm just not going to be able to keep this top piece, which is okay. I've got wood. Wasn't that the name of another video series? I've got wood. I'm trying to make sure I keep this in the view too. I'm just, instead of using that little steel rule, now I'm just kind of going where my X-Acto knife will allow quickly to go. Okay, so there we go. position here. There's something hanging up here. I don't know if it's... Okay, there we go. Alright. So yeah, this was just balsa that's up here. So I got the edge on the top of the light ply here. I'm just going to run my knife along that and clean this up. So yeah, they use these tongue and groove type of joints here, which is fine. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue that or not. I'm just going to take that out and make it flat. I don't know. I'm going to do whatever is easiest. So this covering is not Monocoat, and maybe many of you know that. It is. Feeling it here, and it's adhesive, so it's sticky on the other side there. So now I can clearly see this is that top stringer that was in here as the stiffener, so that's where I can use that piece I've got. So I've got this opened up here now, and here's that the piece of that former that was broken, and I might actually just reuse this piece and just stick it in here like this, glue it up, and then reinforce the bottom and the top with another piece of former like this to go behind it. Because like I said, I'm not entirely sure at this point if I'm going to go with, and this, unfortunately, this piece is completely broken, it's gone. It's gone. I don't, unless it's in the box. It wasn't in the bag. And I'm not seeing, oh wait, here it is. Whoa, check this out. If I can reach it. It's way back here stuck to the adhesive. Hang on, I gotta get this other part of the stringer out. There we go. So, that's interesting that this is, here's a piece of that right here. This is the piece of the former here. It goes like, how did it go? Put it in here like that. Now whether I still want to try to make that happen or not, I don't know. I might be able to jack that into place there and then do the same type of thing where I run a whole new strip piece maybe on both sides just to make sure it's really strong. Here's the holes. So there's actually holes in here for wing dowels or dowel rods, so for a rubber band type installation. So that's cool, I guess. I mean, so I think I'm going to end this segment right here and just say, here, this is what I've got to work with, and this is what I'm going to do here. And I may just see about seeing if I can jam this together like this, and maybe just throw some thick, or not thick, but medium CA on there. Let it cure. Do the same thing with this, and then just start cutting pieces of this to reinforce the back again, and then we'll see about, I don't know, I might actually see if I got a little razor saw and cut these tabs off so that when I go to, or maybe I just put my triangle stock up here at that same level. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It might be easier just to cut these little tabs off, sand this down flush, and then just put my triangle stock along here. Cut a piece here and a piece back here, and be done with it. And I'll figure out at that time also if I want to, if I do a stringer on here, I'm going to put it on here. Let's see with this, if I can glue this piece in here like this. Why does that not look right? Something doesn't look right with that. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. It just popped right. Look at that. Look at that glue joint. It's not even there. I mean, there was a glue supposed to be there, but it's really not. So yeah, I'm just gonna, and I don't know if I'm gonna show this or not. I need to drop that down more here, or just turn this off and start a whole new video, and glue these pieces in place, and then reinforce the living crap out of it. If I've got enough triangle stock left, or maybe even just use that square stock, some of this, I may put braces in here also, just to reinforce the crap out of it. I mean, so what? There's going to be a little extra weight, or I can put a heavy spinner on. Big deal. Heavy spinner nut. But that, I think, is the plan here, and the direction I'm going. So I'm going to shut this camera off, these cameras off now. This will be part 1, but I'm probably going to go on to part 2 right away here pretty quick, because I've got the camera set up, and I've got the time, and I've got some of the materials here.